Hello, welcome again to all our viewers. It's day one, the Leap for Success Virtual Summit. We're glad you could join us today. We're so excited to have you. I'm Dr. Melissa Tranquille, your host here, and I have here with me Cynthia and Leighton. Before we get right into today's interview, let me read a short bio so you would know who Cynthia is. Cynthia is an executive coach who helps business-minded individuals gain inner strength to solve the variety of problems you run across in creating a next act. Cynthia creates videos and trainings for the purpose of developing confidence and habits that work to break through fear and technical glitches to joy and playfulness in growing their business or career. When she's not working, she loves praying, walking, and delighting in nature's beauty. Cynthia, we're so excited to have you here today. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you so much.
Yes. So, share with our listeners today, what has led you to where you are now?
Well, I can only do a little bit. I have a lot of different issues that I'm dealing with, including severe health issues. So I want to make that little bit count. And I trust that God has a plan for me. And in my background, I have entrepreneurs in my family. And I've had an entrepreneurial bent myself. So since I can only do a little bit, and I want that little bit to count, I'm proceeding forward by creating a life where I can help other people, help them make their little bits count. Because reality is everything we do in the scheme of the whole universe is just a little bit.
That's great. That's great. That's really deep. And today you'll be talking about you can stop procrastinating. Tell our viewers why you decided to speak on this topic.
Well, I grew up with a couple of relatives that had learning disabilities. So I saw the power of persistence and the power of little things repeated, very little things repeated. And it's possible to break through things that are impossible at sometimes. And it's also, I've seen a lot of people dealing with perfectionism.
Yes.
And there's, on the one hand, perfectionism is a problem. And on the other hand, if you're persistent, if you dare to fail, you can get a better result. When you dare to fail and do little things, you're failing forward, as some have called it. And I'm trusting that God has a plan for me as well, and that a lot of my background can help our viewers today and the people that I help in my business as well, in small ways that makes a difference for people's lives.
That's great. So is procrastinating something that you've personally overcome yourself?
Well, I wouldn't say that I've overcome it. It's something that's there on the one hand and not there on the other hand, and putting that as if it's two sides of the same coin, that it is a matter of prioritizing, because sometimes what you need to do is to push things away from what you want to do because they're not possible for you.
True.
They're not practical.
True. I struggled with it at one point in my life as well, procrastination. And what you mentioned there about prioritizing is so essential because, sometimes people procrastinate. And that's the reason that they're procrastinating is because they're not sure about what they have to get done. In addition to procrastinating because of fear, sometimes it's because they're not sure of what they have to get done. So that's a great point that you mentioned about prioritizing.
Thank you.
Yes. So tell us, Cynthia, what if someone got a huge, important project that they have to do? Something that's just so big that they don't really feel like doing it. What do you propose?
What I propose is looking at the project and managing expectations, because it may not be possible for you to do the entire project, particularly by yourself.
Yes.
So for example, when I was running my business successfully before, there were things that I could do and there were things that were not in the realm of possibility for me to do. So I attracted various business partners and was able to do, actually in that particular case, things that were bigger than even my expectations. But sometimes what we need to do is manage our expectations into smaller ways so that we can find a way. When we find a way to do something small, it clears the way for us to let go of perfectionism. And it also clears the way from delaying doing things that we really have the ability to do.
You're very right, because sometimes we overcommit ourselves because we set too large, too big an expectation on ourselves, and that puts pressure on our minds. And we struggle now to live up to that dream or that expectation that we've set for ourselves, which at times is impossible.
Right, and sometimes things that are impossible alone are possible by doing a little bit on our own.
Yes.
And our little bit combined with someone else's little bit becomes something bigger. So that when you put your help in the hands of other people and those people put their help in your hands, that you're able to move forward in ways that are totally impossible for either parties. But when you partner together, it's possible, much as what we're doing here today,
Yes.
to have a larger reach and to make a difference in the world for helping people. And that is what it really boils down to, is helping people. Whether you're business-minded or not, helping people is what makes the world work.
That's great, Cynthia. I just want to piggyback on a point that you made there. And for entrepreneurs, for coaches, and even for professionals who might be watching today, partnership, that's an essential point that you've made. No man is an island. And a lot of times, this summit is leap for success. A lot of times people strive for success and they try to do it in a world all by themselves. But no man is an island, and we need to build constructive partnerships. And that's the way that we can achieve the goals that we want to achieve.
Right. And as you begin to see small achievements, that makes it possible for you to look within and find what fits. Because it might be that what fits you is smaller than what you want, but sometimes the smaller thing you do delivers a bigger result because you end up not doing it alone. You end up partnering with the world in ways that, had you continued putting it off, you would have never had the opportunity to discover. Whereas if you're able to look within and find something small that you can do. And so I'd like to do that as an exercise right now. I'd like to dare you to be prepared to close your eyes when I say so, and to dig within. And I took something that I keep on my bedside that keeps reminding me that I wanted to show you. Gratitude. So we're going to do a small exercise here with gratitude.
We invite you listeners, join in.
Yes.
Go ahead, Cynthia, you have the floor.
Please do prepare yourself, because it is important. What I'd like you to do is to focus on your breath for just one breath here, breathing out and breathing in. And now, close your eyes. It's just a short exercise. Close your eyes and allow yourself to experience what you're grateful for in this moment. 3 people, situations, places, or things, just 3. 3 that you appreciate, that you're glad for. 3 glad fors. And as you choose and settle in on 3, allow yourself to focus on that breath again. Breathe out. Breathe in. And now, as you prepare to open your eyes, think of what your needs are. Maybe one need that you haven't taken care of completely today. And now we're going to sneak into the procrastination part because it's underneath there. What's one thing that you've been procrastinating that really matters enough to you to work on, to focus on? Just one. Open your eyes. See, underneath, you know what it is you're procrastinating on. You may feel there's a whole world of things trying to catch your attention, but there's one thing that you can work on right now. It's in your heart. It may not have been what bubbled up right then, but if you allow yourself room for gratitude, If you allow yourself room to see what your needs are, you can see what one thing might be worth working on. And it's probably that one that's now coming up as you continue to focus here gently, breathing quietly, and recognizing you have things in your life you're grateful for. You have needs that you haven't taken care of. And now, before that fear comes in, because there's a reason you've been delaying whatever it is you've been delaying. There's probably something about it that's scary, that you don't want to admit is scary, or that you don't want to push past. Or there's something about it that you feel it has to be perfect and you know it can't be. Well, all those things are okay. I wanted to let you know you are enough right now. And it's okay to procrastinate it. But if you're ready to work on one thing, I suspect the thing that just came up for you is one thing for you to work on. And you thought of your needs right before that. Those needs that came up, those are things that you can do something spectacular with. Because if you take little tiny things, think of them as spectacular but doable, practical breaks. If you take those and then find something small and combine them, you can do something small about what you've been delaying and procrastinating, and you can do something in maybe 15 minutes, a break, to prepare yourself to do the smallest aspect of whatever you're procrastinating.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do the smallest thing, you'll start to get momentum. You can do one small thing and then another small thing. And it isn't so much that I'm saying the break is going to reward you. I'm suggesting that the break, something that's meeting your needs that you're not having met right now. Maybe it's to go for a 15-minute walk, or to take a 15-minute break to sit down and have a cup of tea or lie down to rest. But taking that break can prepare you so that you're ready, instead of not being ready, so that you're ready, that you're able to move forward in a tiny, one small way. And it's not that the break's going to reward you. It really is that the break is going to prepare you.
Mm-hmm.
And so by preparing yourself and by breaking down what you're procrastinating into something really small, you can do one aspect of it. Not perfectly, definitely not in a big way, but done.
Yes.
Find something that's a small aspect. If it's small enough, you can really do it from start to finish in, say, 30 to 60 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's doable. If it's one thing that's really important to you, you can make room in your life today to take a break and to get started on it. And it might be all you need is 5 minutes worth, a 15-minute break and 5 minutes working toward it. So that perhaps another day later this week, you can put the 30 to 60 minutes in to get something completed. But getting started gets you momentum. And that momentum clears the way so that you stop procrastinating and start prioritizing. So you decide, this area of things I'm not going to do, maybe even in my lifetime. This area of things I'm going to put aside for a year, maybe longer, in order to focus in on the things that really matter. Beginning with one that really matters to you that you're putting off. That is practical and doable for you. If you break it down small enough, and then as you move forward, get help from other people who are in your life. And you may find that one person you know can introduce you to someone else who's able to contribute in a way that's very spectacular that you would have never discovered if you didn't do that little tiny first step.
Wow. I just want to invite our listeners to do that exercise. And if perchance you were listening to Cynthia and you had not done the exercise, go back, listen to the recording, and do this exercise, because I did it. You know, I listened to the sound of her voice and I took it seriously and I partook in that exercise. And before I go any further, I just have to compliment Cynthia, because what I love about this, first of all, I love how she uses gratitude to deal with procrastination. I think that is awesome, and it's a unique perspective. And well, we all know procrastination is continuously putting something off for the next day. And what I love is how, first of all, she puts you in a state of being where You're grateful for those three things that you've identified in your mind, you're grateful for. And it puts you in that receptive mode and in a pleasant frame of mind. And then she moves you to the thing that you procrastinate about. And what I want to say to our listeners today is no one is perfect, because even I'm a highly organized person, and it's one of my strengths. But even I procrastinate, even with all my organization and my things to do list and getting things done and love to tick it off. There are things, one little thing or a small little thing that I keep procrastinating. And it was when I did this exercise, and now she said, try to recall one thing that you procrastinate. And I realized, I'm completing my book, and I have been procrastinating contacting the resources, the sources that I've inserted into my book. I need to contact the authors. And I have been procrastinating doing that. So I just want to share with our viewers, complete this exercise. Do it with all of your heart. Put yourself into it and do it with all of your heart, with openness and with sincerity. And you will be able to identify that thing. Start with one thing. I love the message that Cynthia has. Start with one thing, because the problem is sometimes we want to deal with an issue in our life, Cynthia, and we come up with a list of 10 things we want to change, and we're ready to take the bull by the horn and attack all those things at once, which of course would only lead to failure. And this summit is all about giving you tips and giving you advice and listening to the experts on how you can have the success that you want, whether it's in your business, whether it's at work, or whether it's in your personal life. So Cynthia, do you mind sharing with our viewers, how did you come up with this unique perspective to dealing with procrastination?
Well, in my undergraduate studies in psychology, I remember that there's a lot of small things that make a difference.
Yes.
I studied behaviorism, and I saw that in action growing up. So
yes.
I wanted to contribute to myself as I went along.
Yes.
Looking at what I'm grateful for, not at the things that are missing. And I've had a lot of struggles in my life. I've had perhaps a lot more struggles than most people, but I've also had more successes than most people. And I've certainly seen more of the world in terms of travel than most people. So I've had the opportunity to see people around the world and notice the difference when people are focused on themselves and complaining, and people who take little steps and move forward. That it really makes a big difference in their life. And in perhaps a couple of meetings where I was quite grateful.
Yes.
I met Mother Teresa twice in what was then called Calcutta, and remembered her smile. That's what awesome. I remember across the years and across the decades is a beautiful smile, and remembering, the difference that one small act can make. That's multiplied across the world.
That's right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So another question I have for you is, what does someone get from going slowly and doing small things? I know you spoke briefly about it a while ago. Doing that small thing will help you to overcome the fear, and of course taking that break and then coming back to it, you might be able to accomplish that thing, even if it takes you more time, but you get that thing done. Would you mind speaking any more on that?
Yes, I believe it's about the deep skills.
Right.
It's the deep skills that you get inside you that you can then begin to apply in other areas of your life that gets you the momentum that keeps you moving forward. If you manage your expectations and not look at the tiny results of a particular instance, but look at how that spreads into your life, I think that what you'll find that you're gaining is the skills, the underlying skills to do something rather than the one particular task simply getting done. Because when you manage your expectations, instead of only expecting one result from the direct what you're doing right here and right now, it gives you a bigger view so that you can look up and around and see with awe what's happening that you're gaining within, not just as skills, but as your way to move through the world, as your way to flow. And flow of creativity comes only as you manage your expectations and allow yourself to keep moving forward, not looking for perfection, but for gaining what you can from each situation and just allowing yourself to contribute yourself fully. And in my case, I believe that when I slow down and do smaller things,
Yes.
it's in my littleness that God's glory can shine through me and use all that I am and all that I've gained to help other people, one person at a time.
Yes, yes, yes. That's great. And I love also what you mentioned about the skills, deep skill, because I've found in my interaction with others that many people who procrastinate as well is that fear of tackling that task that seems to be challenging. Whereas if we were to change our perspective and realize that it's a matter of growth and development. So it may seem challenging, but when I attempt it, if I attempt it, I will be learning a new skill here. And that's the point that you've been emphasizing. And I think that's a great takeaway in looking at how you can, why you should try to overcome procrastination, because you will be gaining additional skills. You will be enhancing your skills and your competencies with whatever it is that you're trying to achieve.
Right, and your achievements start to happen in waves.
That's
It
right.
isn't just the one thing that you do. It's the one thing repeated and repeated over time so that eventually you're driving right in there and having those accomplishments happen around you and in situations you would never have put yourself into if you hadn't done one small thing and then another small thing and then even smaller things. You simply start to get the deep skills to be able to grow and rise up from within and allow what you know to help other people.
That's great, Cynthia. We're so glad to have you here with us today talking about procrastination. For those of you who might be joining us late, I want to invite you to go back and listen to the beginning of this video and also complete the exercise. Cynthia shared a wonderful exercise. So if you're just joining us, go back, listen to the replay, and complete that wonderful exercise. It will give you great perspective. So, Cynthia, you have an offer for your listeners today. Can you tell them a little about it?
Yes, it's to help you to turn your dreams into reality, to make your achievements real from the small things that you're able to do today.
Yes.
It's to help you. And one part of it is a life-changing small one-page PDF exercise. And it's called Helping You Create an Inner Dialogue That Disrupts Fear. It's a real exercise. If you'll really do it, it'll make a big difference in your life. And there's a little ebook as well. And the name of my ebook is How to Overcome Your Fears so that you can live your dreams.
Yes.
And I also wanted to mention to our viewers that, to our listeners, that I have a weekly call. It's usually on Wednesday or Thursday that I invite you to attend live.
That's great. And with regards to your offer, you had mentioned that it's called Kubadi.
Yes, Kubadi.
Right. Would you mind sharing with our listeners the inspiration behind this?
Oh, yes, the inspiration behind this. Well, one of the exercises in business is to go out on a walk, and I decided to go out on a walk in nature. And instead of just letting the inspiration come from within, I allowed, since I love the beauty of nature, I allowed the nature that was around me. And in that particular case, there were 3 very distinctly different sounding birds that were coming in flocks about me, including an unusual type of duck. And I was hearing just the different birds over and over again in different patterns. And then suddenly 3 in a row was coo, 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 bar, 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 dee, dee, dee. So Kubardi, Kubardi, Kubardi. So Kubardi.com became one of my websites.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's really, really awesome. And you know what you've done there? It may sound simple, but it has deep benefits. And I just want to share that with our listeners. It has deep benefits of just taking that walk. You know, even if it's a 5 or 10-minute walk or sitting in a park and listening to the sound of the birds and listening to the wind, the rustle of the leaves, the deep benefits, this is called mindfulness. It brings you in a state of being present. And I'm sure we've all heard of the numerous benefits that can be acquired from being more mindful. Reduce stress, increases your energy, your motivation, your drive, helps to eliminate the negative feelings, and really it helps you to become more positive and even more enthusiastic about life. So that what you shared there, it may sound simple to someone, but it's actually something that's very deep and has great benefits in our life.
And when you're not feeling enthusiastic, one thing that I've learned is that by being enthusiastic, I become enthusiastic.
Yes.
And sometimes that's a matter of acting enthusiastic. And acting enthusiastic to go for a walk will get me to really get into that walk. And then when I've completed that walk, I'm in a space where doing my little bit is more possible and getting an achievement is more likely.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. And to piggyback on what you just said, I was reading a book by Napoleon Hill. I think it was Wishes Won't Bring Riches. And he has a chapter on enthusiasm. And you see, the truth of the matter is, I want to tell our listeners today that we all want to attain success. And yes, you need a plan, you need an action, you need to know how you're going to get from point A to point B, but it will all be worthless. Your plan will be worthless. The map you have to get you from where you are now to where you want to go will be worthless if you can't find yourself to be enthusiastic on that journey. So that's great. It's really powerful what you just shared. We need to find a way how to motivate ourselves even when we don't feel like it.
And sometimes it's something small, taking a break, maybe making a list of doable, practical breaks, because that's something that I do from time to time. And then allowing yourself to take the steps of doing those breaks and then doing your small bit, letting your small bit really count by not expecting it to be perfect. And on the other side, not just putting it off.
Wow, that's right. That's right, Cynthia. That's powerful. And before we go, Cynthia, do you mind sharing with our listeners, whether it's 3 or 4 points, it's up to you. What takeaway do you want to leave with our listeners today, our viewers today, about stopping, ending the cycle of procrastination?
Open yourself to gratitude. When you open yourself to gratitude, all kinds of things happen. There have been a lot of studies that have been done over the decades over this. And when you allow yourself to feel gratitude, to experience the gratitude that's in your day, in your moment, look for variety. Don't repeat the same 1 to 100 on 100 different days. Pick something different. And I suggest that you do 3. Because 3 is a small number, but it's also an important number. 3 things that you're grateful for, and then dig underneath that for your needs, the needs you may not be taken care of. Because in this busy, bustling, 24/7 modern world, people often don't take time, make time for your own needs. And that may be different from one day to the next, because you're in a different phase of your life from one day to the next, and your needs are different. And then when you dig underneath those needs and start to find tiny, doable, practical ways to take breaks, dig underneath that for one thing that you may be procrastinating, that is a priority, that is worth working on, just one thing. And when you look with gratitude, then at your needs, that relaxes you enough to recognize what that one thing is that you're procrastinating that really needs your effort today.
Yes, thank you so much, Cynthia. This was wonderful. I appreciate everything that you shared, especially the exercise. So I just want to reiterate to our viewers, if you missed the exercise, please go listen to the replay and perform that exercise. I'm sure you're going to find yourself in a different frame of mind when you're done. Before we close, do you mind just sharing once again how our listeners can get in touch with you? And if you're on social media, share that also.
My website is kubardee.com, KUBARDEE.com. And I'm over on YouTube, but I'm just getting started, so I don't have a name for my channel. But if you go to kubardee.com and you click on the menu, you'll be able to find my YouTube. It's hidden a little bit there, but that's one place where I'm over at YouTube.
And before I go, I just want to mention that how I motivate myself when I don't feel like it is listen to inspirational videos. And folks, I have listened to Cynthia's videos. I've watched them. They're short, they're direct and to the point. So I want to invite you to hop over to YouTube, Kabadi.com, and you can watch her videos. I'm sure they're going to inspire you to make that change in your life. So thank you, Cynthia and Leighton. Thank you for being here today. I want to
Thank you
wish
so
you
much,
a
Constance.
wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.